Today, we conclude our coverage of the 52nd Never Forgotten Honor Flight to Washington, D.C. that took place on Monday. Our own Shauna Johnson has the final story of a woman on board that flight.
On Monday morning, 108 Wisconsin veterans boarded flight for their last military mission, the mission of high honors and utmost respect that some never received on their initial return from deployment. Of the veterans on board, there were 2 women. I had the chance to speak with one who was a Navy nurse during Vietnam. Elizabeth McBride, who now resides in Tomahawk, served her time in the Navy Nurse Corps, a legacy she carried on after she was named after a World War I nurse who delivered her into this world.
When I talked to the recruiter, she told me because I was already an ICU nurse, I would have my choice of duty stations. She lied. So you go, when you're in the military, you go where the needs of the military are.
For McBride, that meant the Great Lakes Naval Hospital near Chicago. And at the time, she lived on the East Coast.
Spent 4 years there. All I did was take care of Marines from Vietnam. Lots of horrendous injuries and lots of Marines.
McBride enjoyed her 4 years, even though she recalls the way she was treated and that her service at the time was not recognized. When her duty was complete at the Naval Hospital, she was offered a job as a recruiter.
And I said, no, I'm a nurse, I'm not a recruiter. And she said, well, we really want you to be a recruiter. I said, okay, well, where do you want me to go? She said, we want you to go to Detroit. I said, Detroit? 1973? Not happening.
So McBride got out of active duty and went into the reserves.
I would have stayed in the Navy because I liked it a lot, but you had a choice to make at that time. You could be a mother or you could be in the Navy.
She chose to be a mother. She adopted 3 children, 2 sons from Colombia and a daughter from the United States. She said nowadays you can be in the military as a mother, but then was a different time.
I still think, my personal opinion, I think it's better to have kids be with a parent. And when you're in the military's needs come first, not yours.
The trip meant a lot of things to McBride, especially sharing it with other veterans who understand such a different time in life.
Yeah, it's not something you talk about every day because, number one, it's not that people don't care, but there's so much else going on.
McBride said it was a time when it wasn't popular to be in the military. She was spit on, she was jeered a lot, and that's just how it was. Now things are different, and the stories need to be told.
I did get very teary-eyed at the wall because there was one of my favorite patients there. So, I found his name and was telling other people about him. So that was very emotional. So it's the camaraderie of being with others who served.
McBride said at first she didn't feel right about signing up for the honor flight because she wasn't stationed in Vietnam. She felt as though she would be taking it away from someone else. But after a lot of encouragement from her family, she signed up, and she's so glad she did. Reporting from D.C., Shauna Johnson, Newswatch 12.